think Jabril found something in the return game last week? Looked like he had return.
Did he lose anything? That's kind of being facetious. But, I think the biggest thing is everybody just kind of took an intensity to it and, took a little pride amongst themselves. The guys had a lot of energy throughout the course of the week. And, it was a nice day and all that. So everything kind of tied into being an advantageous day to catch a ball and run with it and to block a little bit.
You didn't think he did anything different?
I think he worked the same as he's always done. He's always a good, hard worker. So I didn't see anything noticeable during the week. Might have paid a little bit more attention to getting vertical. And, when he brings his pads, he's going to bring them low. And so, those kind of things. But and maybe had a little bit better vision of, what was going on around him. I think that helps, always with a return, especially, the longer a guy gets into his defensive position in the NFL, much like I had with Patrick Peterson, in Arizona. Sometimes, you just got to go back, take a step back and look at it as a runner and not just as a returner, and so those types of things I think help in that respect.
How are you guys kind of impacted by, some of the injuries, losing Rod Streeter, who obviously got hurt on that first return, some of the injuries that are starting to pile up?
Well, first of all, attrition's going to get you, so you always got to have an in-game backup. I came here with the mindset that that was probably one of the biggest things that, the years in Pittsburgh and Arizona taught me is I think we had 267 substitutions in Arizona in a 5-year period. So we're getting pretty close, to doing that here. But you've always got to have the next guy up mentality, player-wise and coaching-wise. It's devastating when you lose a player early, particularly like we did with Street last week. But, that's another man's opportunity. But it's not anything that we don't prepare for. I never have been a coach in college, high school, or pro ball that we rep guys. So when I have to go to them on the sideline, they know exactly what's getting ready to happen. That's why they're attentive in meetings, and we hold them accountable in that respect. So, from the standpoint of the next man up, it's not lip service. It can't be, particularly in this league, because you're only dressing 46. So you got to be ready for that. So, but it's devastating when you lose a guy at any point in time, but when you lose him on the first punt of the game, boy, it's kind of throws everybody into a loop. And what's the best avenue? Sometimes moving a guy to another position that he's probably worked in practice can kind of offset losing a guy completely, in terms of, not having a guy that's the best available in that respect.
You talked about how Greg didn't have a great warm-up, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Was he better? I mean, obviously he came back and made all his kicks. Was he better?
100%, 100% better.
When you said that, was it just missing kicks, or you didn't like kind of his routine?
No, his routine's fine. It's just, it's you got to kind of take the same mindset with, particularly because of his youth. You want to see him make them in practice. You want to see him make them when he's kicking his sticks in practice. Your goal is for him to come out of, whether it be with the sticks or whether it be with the team, you'd like it to be in the 90 percentile. So I think that was the biggest thing last week was just, and it's the calmness about for him. As a coach, you're going to always have a little bit of butterfly. But it's kind of one of those deals there where it's something you want him to be able to go smoothly through the progressions of it. So he doesn't get over anxious or start trusting something that he shouldn't be trusting or trying to do something he shouldn't be doing. Because they always Dave Zasdale always said it, man, trust your line. And that's what he kind of lived by and what he told the young Chandler Catanzaro, ironically, when I had him in Arizona with him. You just kind of got to trust the first kick, even if it didn't go in, you kind of got to see what happens, but not panic. Don't hit the panic button and just start kicking all over the place.
Did you like how Greg bounced back after missing a couple against Baltimore?
Yeah, and I expect him to continue to grow, this week. New adversity, going down to the warm weather and, different field and all those things. So he's got to continue to progress. Each week's going to be different to him until he gets all these stadiums mastered.
Greg's got like 17 or so touchbacks on kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get he obviously has a big leg. So how do you get that to translate the accuracy from distance in the place kicking game?
Completely different. You got a tee, ball spotted off the ground. You're not going to hit the dirt, when you swing through. So it's really the leg strength on the kickoff is accentuated, I guess you could say, by the fact that you got a tee, so the ball's higher, so you're going to hit the ball in the sweet spot a little bit more sometimes and more consistent. Catanzaro's an 80% field goal, an 80% kickoff, a touchback guy. So, those kind of guys that I've had that have strong legs, that's the elevation part of the tee is completely different really than a guy kicking a field goal off the ground. And they got to transition because of the height. But, Greg has a strong leg. Hopefully he can continue to muscle it through because we know what's getting ready to happen with the weather and stuff like that. So all those things factor in. That's why if we kick a touchback, we're coaching on Wednesday or Monday when the team comes back in. We're coaching the kickoff coverage team as if that play was ran. We decide what we think they were returning, and we spend a lot of time coaching them on, hey, this is what you better be looking at because eventually somebody's going to bring those balls out or they're not going to be end zone balls, and we're going to have to make sure we cover right. So, you kind of got to just keep coaching them in that respect because the touchback is good. Doesn't put a whole lot of pressure on the coverage team, but eventually you're going to see teams that do bring balls out or the weather's going to dictate that the ball's not going to go in the end zone.